for me as editor, the Clippers week begins really as soon as last week's issue comes off the press. Clipper prints on Tuesday night and gets delivered in the mail and hits the newsstands on Wednesday morning. So as early as Wednesday morning when I get in, I start the next week of business. Everything is in sort of a weekly cycle. Really the first thing I do is go through last week's paper and write down any upcoming events. If there's the town hall news that I use to determine what meetings are going on next week, I'll write those all down in my calendar. Any events that look like they might be an interesting thing to cover, I put all those in the calendar. I'll also go through some of the stories. Susanna Sheehan is our selectman reporter, so sometimes I'll look at the bullet points from her meetings and see if there's anything from that could be expanded into a further story. Once all that stuff is done, when I've gathered all those things in, I make what's called a story budget. The story budget basically is a list of the stories that you're working on for the next week. So it'll start off if I know, hey, there's a selectman meeting next week. That's your number one story. Okay, that's what Susanna's going to be going to. I'm going to planning board, so that's on the agenda too. Wednesday night I have a school committee meeting. So there you go. We already have a couple of stories. I'll also look at the calendar and say, okay, there's an event coming up this weekend, prom or Duxbury Idol, for example, something I covered recently. Once all those things start to fill in, those things that are on the calendar, things that are happening that you kind of have to get to. Once you've done all those things, you look at your budget and say, okay, is this enough for the week? Maybe there's enough things going on that's your paper for the week. If not, you have to look at, okay, what else do I have for other stories? Are there some features we can get to? Have we held anything? Is there something that I've just wanted to do for a while? And usually I'll keep those on the same sort of document on my desktop here that we'll have all the stories ideas, not only the budget and the things that I have to do for that week, but also things that I want to get to and things that we've been working on, long-term projects and things of that nature. And once the story budget's complete, you get to work. You start making phone calls and you start going out and pounding the pavement and getting the stories.
Part of the reporter or myself's routine every Friday is to come down to Duxbury Town Hall and check the meeting postings. Massachusetts has a pretty strict open meeting law that says that any governmental board has to post its meeting in a public place, usually outside town hall, and with the time and date. And now, as of July 1st, they actually have to post an agenda of things that they reasonably think could be discussed. So that's kind of new. It'll be interesting to see how people deal with that moving forward. But that is part of sort of the routine. It's always good to come down to and just check in town hall, stop in various offices. Sometimes I'm dropping things off. It can never hurt to poke your head in someplace, see if anybody's got a story there or something that they need covered.